The narcissist is extremely insecure and immature, and it's at the level, it's because of their emotional IQ is really low, if there is any at all. They are emotionally stunted. Somehow they are, maybe they've been trained to not become emotional. So anyway, that main intelligent system, which is more intelligent than the mind, has been pushed aside or destroyed somehow. So they're extremely insecure. You know, it's like not having your stick on a tightrope. You know, when you don't have your emotions, how do you know what's going on in a situation? I mean, how do you, if you don't listen to those, you're in deep shit. You can be easily in deep shit in relationships, especially if there's another psychopath right there and you're not picking it up. That, hey, this person really doesn't have respect for me. They are hell bent on objects. Anyway, let's get back to how are you doing? I wore a shirt that, I do have shirts, believe it or not. I don't have to wear pajamas every single time. And I even though I brush my hair, it looks a little worse. It's kind of weird. I'm in Aries rising. How are you? Getting ready for Jupiter to trek into Aries. And I have a worried look on my face is because, well, there's a lot of changes that are just a lot of collapsing before this expansion. And I'm looking at it, and I'm here to tell you, you know what, you don't fight change. Unless it's change, actually make change, you know. And some things, of course, I mean, most of all things, I mean, like life itself is not controllable. You know, like with my dog, I'm coming to terms with, well, shoot, she's 20 years old. And this is it, the poor thing, you know. Anyway, I don't want to get hung up on that depression. It's just a sign of the end of an era in somebody's life in the family. You know, when the family dog dies at age 16. Usually it's age 16 or 17, but she's 20 years old. A lot of people are not knowing me at all. So when they get a glance and just a picture, it's like, wow, your dog is short and whoa, and it's like, ho, 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 this stuff didn't take that fucking short of a time to develop. I mean, my dog started declining with her changing her diet and rejecting the stuff that I'm giving her, and I'm trying my darndest to really oscillate all kinds of different foods, and people were helping me. Anyway, back to the dog subject. But thank you to all the people who sent me dog food on top of dog food, because at that time I didn't express it, but she had many different dog foods and stuff, and she was having a hard time eating them. And so I guess I would respond, well, she's eating this one better or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's just a little personal thing that I was dialing in on with her as she was getting older. And then it kind of, how it just kind of got into another realm of her rejecting her foods and just not eating. She's getting up now, and I'm trying to get her food. The past 3 days, um, she hasn't been able to hold her food down. And I'm like, oh fuck, this is not going to happen. She's really weak right now. She's really weak. She can't walk around hardly. Thanks for listening to this. This is what's mainly happening for me. I've had my dog for 14 years. That's the true number. I did the math. Since at least 2009 or even 8. So that's 14 years, give or take a year, like some months, and whenever who knows when she was born, right? So, but I remember, she's 6 years old when I got her, and the way that the way her life is she's a lot like me. She's just a sleek, good-looking animal, and she made it this far being that way. It's like you would have to look at her teeth to see, oh no, this is an old dog, and you can see it in her eyes. Otherwise, it's just like, these people think that I have been cruel to this dog and abused the dog, and I have this parade. The neighbors, it's certainly not the neighbors on either side of me because they know. I've walked this dog every day and they've seen me do this for the last 16 years that I've had the dog, or 14, sorry. Uh, it's just, the last time I took her for walks, she was having physical troubles. Something with her food. Something would make her react. Here she is. Hi, baby. Hi, Roxy. Come here. How you doing? Are you getting up again? How are you doing, sweetie? Good girl. It's all right. You're good. You're okay. Good girl. She's. I'm gonna try and get her a little bit more food. Um, but she's not gonna make it very long. She needs to get water. If she doesn't get water, she'll die. And the truth is this is a natural process of life that's happening. See, the thing is like, I was talking about these neighbors. Well, somebody called, and I have to call every single one of these officers that came down here to harass me in the name of this one neighbor. I don't know which one it is, but I have to know. I just have to know because they don't know my dog. They don't know me and how old she is. And that's not even the point. The point is what happened was they saw my old decrepit dog probably up at the top of the driveway. I was either vacuuming or it was the week when I'm yelling at people over texting, trying to get my belongings back. But she's deteriorating. She's 20 years old, and we've been going through this thing for a year of her just declining and me trying to figure out and fight it. And I took her to the vet a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, and she's a naturally lean and sleek dog. Her ribs always showed, because she's a hound dog. She's the kind of dog that just runs, you know. And so my neighbor calls the animal rescue services on me. Here they come. It was a week ago Thursday. Yeah, it was a week ago Thursday. It's a week ago. See, today's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. It'll be a week ago Thursday. Um, uh, that an officer came down here and he saw it, and I told him, look, this is an old dog. And I've been struggling. He came in and he saw the food everywhere, the different kinds of foods I've been setting out and for her, and saw her condition, and I just tried to explain. At the same time, I'm going through this thing with people that I'm emotionally not happy. And it's not because of my dog or anything. And it's not because this guy is down in the driveway, except for it did just irritate me because now he's giving me fine after fine after fine after fine. He says I owe the $400 if I don't get her to the vet and get it and find out what's wrong. And it's like, can I explain to you again that I'm sorry, but thank you for being here. I told him, it's like thank you, but she's an older dog, and do you know that sometimes we keep our dogs? Sometimes they just get old and they die in front of our face. We would rather have it that way as owners. Are you kidding me? That's the way it's been for me, and I look at it like, is that wrong? Do we suffer that long? We have to be careful of that, right? And I'm trying to be clear. Now, Shauna, you had an amazing life with this dog for 14 years. On top of it being 6 years old, I rescued it. It was a rescue situation where the old folks couldn't have the dog. They died. The old folks did, and now it's time to transfer the dog somewhere. And I got two dogs. One was 16. Her friend, Roxy's friend, my dog, was 16 years old or 17 when I got it, and then it died. And here, and so I don't know. But at this point, I can see, oh shit, this isn't gonna go. I can't keep. She's not gonna eat. But I would rather keep her here and bury her in my backyard, even though that's a kind of hardship that everybody would say, no, you're crazy. But it's like, no, that's what we've always done. the last dog we had and the dog before that, or either that or we take them to the cremator, the creamery or whatever you call them, and cremate the dog. And we have all kinds of. I still have some of my dog's ashes here from my grandmother when I was caretaking her. A couple dogs died actually before I came here. Anyway, it's life, like George Carlin says, life is a series of dogs and cats. And the thing is to pay attention. I'm so glad she's here. She's right there by me. And she's always been there. It's just a change, you know. Um, there's something new. See, as a human being, I'm not dying. You know, the thing is there's change coming, and the higher voice is preparing me for all this. This is all part of it. This is life happening, and you know, it's kind of like the procession of the rescue workers coming down here. You know, it's like, well, we know, blah blah blah. And it's like, well, yeah, but what do you know? That team, I'm gonna give them a piece of my mind. You know, I'm gonna keep telling them today. You know, right now it's 6 in the morning, and uh, I'm gonna call them and just say, okay, so you know, here we are. I got to keep my dog to the point where I need you to understand. You know, I think I take her to the vet tomorrow, and I have her put to sleep. But I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to do that. I don't know. I just don't want to do that. You know, I just don't want to do that. It's gonna happen naturally. She's 20 years old. I would love to have help. Uh, you know, at least, well, yeah, digging the hole, but I can dig the hole. That's part of the misery of the other side of life. You know, the thing is it doesn't last forever, so you just dig the hole, you do it right, dig it deep enough, and set them in, or same thing with burning a body. You better have the right fuel and have it's an art at the funeral fires in India to set up a funeral fire. You know, you have to do it right so that things aren't left hanging out and boiling over and this and that. And same thing with the burials, so that something doesn't come and dig it up. You do it right the first time. It's a ritual. What was my point? Uh, because it doesn't last. You don't want to keep burying it over and over again, and you don't want to, you know, be spatuling up something that didn't burn right. What I mean is, it's over, and you move on. You know, clean and simple, and that's a temporary downer. But you go through it as wholeheartedly as the life that was provided by it, you know, the experience that you had, and the way you cherish it. Oh, God. So, you know, I've been having, you know, she's already in heaven. I know she's a heaven sent thing. So, you know, it, you know, I can, you know, she's not going to last very long. I'm going to be calling some people, everybody. There's like, there's 4 officers involved at the rescue service, the city rescue, animal rescue department, and then there's the people at the ARF, and then I'm sure all of Idlewild is talking now, and the thing is I'm not in contact with them. And it's probably a wise thing. You know, I was thinking, and this is a long video, sorry about this, but I was thinking, you know, how I don't mean this as an antisocial hater or anything, but people are bad news. Especially if you're lost and you think that people are the answer. That's right. Really, really. If you think people are the answer, you're wrong. This is something that a child can understand, and you can understand it too, because if there's a question, the truth is the answer. And it's never been people. There is a question about people, and then there is the truth about people, and then you can look into it. It is mind-blowing. You'll have to take some LSD and blah, 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 get it, because your mind is fashioning up something about people that is just non-existential at all. It is not as existential, the mind is, and therefore people aren't. So anyway, imagine that, babes. The things that I've been through in my life, and what's going to be going on. I'm coming more alive, becoming more awake. Contrary to what the narcissists would like us to be, and because of who they are, basically living dead people. Getting back to their makeup, how that they are emotionally insensitive. It's just a lack. It's a handicap, and this builds up an insecurity inside of their entire body. That's just, they have this panel of insecurity, so that if human emotions do arise, like jealousy, like envy, like, oh man, I wish I had what that guy had, or like, oh man, I wish I was them on that stage right there, like going like this. They can't be happy. They get that envious, but that just blows up. They can't adjust it, and you know what I'm saying? There's a lot to say, like take an hour to clarify what I'm talking about with that, how that human emotions just destroy them, so they don't. So yeah, it throws them into the one to point out is jealousy, and it could be, you know, just a passing whim of man, that girl is prettier than me, or whatever. But in the narcissist, because of their paneling, their emotional life is non-existent if they experience it, which it's normal. God experiences jealousy. I mean, it's a form. It's just a form of admiration. But really, if it blows up, and all of a sudden you can't compose your entire being over that there's somebody else over there that has the same thing as you. Really, it's just a different accomplishment as a human. Well, um, that's insecurity. That's the insecurity that you are wired up as having been abused.